Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another weekly setup. So I'm going to start by analyzing over 20 pairs using the fxalexg set and forget strategy, and let me show you what we have for this week. We are going to be analyzing over all these pairs right here, right? And you guys are going to see what my thought process is on each pair. So I'm not going to lie to you guys, I'm actually less motivated in creating this video, but it doesn't really matter. Right? What really matters is that we show up every day and try to make something out of it. So the very first pair that we have is NZDUSD. So NZDUSD last week, we were covering how we wanted to sell this market. So markets pretty much stalled around here for the past, let's see how many days, for about 3 days and 4 hours before finally taking us out. So this week we actually closed at break even, right? So what we're going to do this week, let's start by deleting everything, and then let's see what other time frames are telling us. So on the daily time frame, we are clearly bearish. We are bearish on the daily time frame. Weekly time frame, we are also bearish. So we have those two time frames in sync, right? And let's see what the 4 hours is saying. 4 hour time frame, we are bullish. So we are going to be working with the daily and the weekly time frame. So let's look for the area of interest. This area of interest is way too far. It's way too far. I could have been drawing the area of interest from here to here, but there is not enough structure points for market to bounce off of, because the only area of interest that we had was the one of last week, and price basically just passed through that area of interest, so it's no longer valid. We are looking for an area of interest that is better, that is far from current market price, right? So I will make a decision on what to think about NZDUSD soon, right? But 4 hour time frame is actually clearly bullish. So until 4 hour time frame gets to this area, and if you look on the 4 hour time frame, you can also see that we have this left head, right shoulder. So let me draw it for you guys. Left head, and we have this right shoulder. So until price gets to this area, then we'll be looking to sell. Is this going to happen this week? I'm not sure. So let's just go to other pairs. As usual, again, we delete everything, and let's see what the daily is saying. So daily time frame, in my opinion, I'll call it bullish, right? Daily time frame, in my opinion, I'll call it bullish because I'll be looking at this as the lower low and this as the high, lower high, right? So price is currently above that, right? So I'm not really interested in selling this market. Let's see what other time frames are saying. Let's see what the 4 hour is saying. All right, 4 hour is currently bullish, right? 4 hour is currently bullish, but we can't get any clean area of interest around here. So let's just go to the next pair. GBPUSD will simply just be waiting for that break and retest that we have been waiting for the past 2 weeks now, I'm sure, right? So that will be the first pair for the week. NZDCAD, let's delete everything. Daily time frame is bearish. 4 hour time frame is also bearish. This is the lower low and this is the lower high. But this price action is not as clean, so I'm looking to see how we'll enter this market. This area of interest is more like a 4-hour area of interest, and if price gets back to area of interest, this will make 4-hour time frame bullish, which means it will be invalid, right? So let's just go to another pair. I'm not liking this market. We delete everything. Weekly time frame. Weekly time frame is bullish. Daily time frame. Daily time frame is bearish, right? But this is what I would like to see on GBP, EURGBP, right? I prefer a break and retest under this level to sell. So you can see at this level we have support, support, support. So we have like 1, 2, 3, and 4 rejections from this area of interest, right? 4-hour time frame. 4-hour time frame is currently bullish, right? So 4-hour time frame is currently bullish, and let's see here. I'm seeing something here. There is a minor 4-hour area of interest here that can potentially continue this bullish momentum that has been happening. So if you look at this right here, price on the 4-hour is actually bullish, right? On the daily, it's actually bearish. Yes, on the daily, it's actually bearish. So on the daily time frame, it makes sense for us to sell eventually, right? So on the daily time frame, you need a break and retest below this area to sell. But on the 4-hour, which is what the current market price action is doing right now, it actually makes sense for us to buy this market here from this area, right? So I'll still add this for the pairs for this week, but I'll be very careful about this pair. So here's the thing that we are going to be looking for, right? We're expecting 1-hour time frame to come back to any of these areas. So if 1-hour time frame, remember on Sunday nights, price is going to open with momentum, right? So if price comes back to this area and then gives us the engulfing, right, the bullish engulfing, we'll be entering this market buys. We'll be entering this market buys, and we'll put stop loss. The trade is just basically going to be looking something like this. We're putting stop loss below these lows right here, right? And then target 1 is 2, hoping that the bullish momentum on the 4-hour will just continue, right? So we are basically working with the 4-hour and the 1-hour for the buys, right? But for the daily, pretty much all the time frame from daily, 4-hour and 1-hour is going to turn bearish. So this one trade I'm looking for. So if price just basically pass through this level right here, price breaks below all this level, then we are no longer going to be looking for buys. We'll be waiting for the sales below this area right here. So I'm going to be adding this pair for the week. EURJPY. Daily time frame. Let's delete everything. Daily time frame is not clean. As you can see, there's just multiple wicks everywhere, but the time frame is bearish. This is the lower low right here. This is the lower high, right? That is if you're counting this as a structure point. So let's see what the weekly is saying. Weekly, all right. So weekly is bullish as you can see right now, but weekly is showing more of bearish momentum to some extent. Wow. So if you look at this historical high right here, this is June 2024, right? So price came here before and he had one engulfing candle right here. So what happened after then? You can see that this was just a meltdown. So price is currently around that area right here. Price has an engulfing that engulfed 2 weeks of price action, have a retracement, a doji, and an engulfing. So I'm assuming that history is going to repeat itself again on the weekly time frame, right? So we should actually just be tilting towards selling this market. So let's just see how other time frames are looking now. All right, so on the daily time frame, still not clean. Still not clean. Let's see what the 4 hour is saying. The 4 hour is bullish. Let's see. The 4 hour is actually bullish, right? So I'm not really sure how I want to play this market right now because the weekly is clearly telling us that we are going to continue selling this week, right? But the 4 hours is telling us that we are buying. So let's just look for how to align ourselves with the weekly time frame. All right, let's just go to every other pair. I'll check EURJPY again. AUDUSD. Sure, I was looking for sales before on this market.
If you want to invest on US stocks,
AUDUSD is currently bullish on the daily time frame, right? So let me show you what I'm looking at. This right here, this was the bearish market, right? So this was the lower low, and this right here was the lower high, right? So price basically was still bearish around this area, and then I'm still going to count this as a structure point, and then it closed below this low, right? So as it closed below this low, price have a retracement back like this. So let me bring it out so that you guys see. As you can see right here, this is the market structure. This is the same market structure right here. So price closed below this low, making this the new lower low, and this the new lower high. And price now broke above this new lower high, making this market bullish, right? So let's see what the weekly is saying. Weekly is also currently bullish, right? Because this is the higher high and this is the higher low, right? And we just had a new weekly engulfing candle from this area. So let's see what the 4 hour is saying. The 4 hour is also currently bullish. And the only area of interest you can get here is this one on the daily. The one on the 4 hour is just there's just way too many area of interest if you look at it. So there's one right here, above here, right here. Right, so let me draw it. So price can basically reject off of this area of interest on the 4 hour and continue bullish this week. Let's see how the 1 hour will look. 1 hour is also currently bullish, right? So this trade is a risky one. It's a risky one because what we are basically going to be looking for here is a retracement back into this area for us to continue buying. But if you look well, is that we are not really using the daily time frames area of interest, right? We are using the 4 hour area of interest. So if you get the engulfing around here, we'll probably be looking for buys on this market. Let me look at this market again. I think it's probably we'll add it for the pair for the week. GBPCHF daily time frame. Alright, GBPCHF. I was pretty much waiting for price to return back to this area to continue buying. Right? The daily is bullish, the 4 hour is bearish, right? 4 hour is bearish. So let's see what the weekly is saying. Alright, the weekly, clearly this is a historical low, right? So the weekly had the first push up, right, and it's having that retracement, but we don't know, based on the weekly, we don't know where it's going to retrace from, right? But it has had the retracement, which is actually due for another push up, right? So let us see again the 4 hour. So the 4 hour is bearish, right? The only way we can play this trade is if we can have a break and retest above this level on the 4 hour, right? So if we can get a break and retest like this, that would be a much better price action, right? Let's see how the 1 hour looks. The 1 hour is also bearish. So for price to shift structure on the 1 hour time frame, it actually has to stick close above this high on the 1 hour time frame. So it's very simple. We'll just simply be waiting for a break and retest above this area to buy GBPCHF. So I'll add it for the pairs for this week. CADJPY. Let's go to the daily time frame. Let's delete everything. Let's see what we have here. Alright, this market structure is not that clean on the daily time frame. Let's see what the weekly is saying. Alright, so the price action is actually cleaner here on the weekly time frame. So we have a little bit of area of interest right here. So this is the area of interest here on the weekly. So on the weekly, price has rejected from this area 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 rejections from this area. So let us see how we can continue buying based on the weekly time frame. Alright, the 4 hour time frame. Let us see what we have there. Alright, so this right here, CADJPY, looks very clean here on the 4 hour time frame. So if you look at this 4 hour price action, price came back to area of interest, and is from the EME, you can see that price is shifting bullish right now. So here is how I want to play this market, right? Here is how I want to play this market, because we cannot enter on Sunday night. You can't really take the trade around here right now, right? So we will look for a support and resistance area, just like this one right here. and wait for price to break and retest above that area, right? So if price can break and retest above this area right here, I'll be interested in continue buying the market. So let's see how the 1 hour is looking. All right, so it's a way more cleaner price. I think I'm happy with CADJPY right now. Of all the pairs I just analyzed, I like CADJPY the most. So a cleaner break and retest above this area will be good for buys. So let's add it for the pairs for the week. AUDCHF, AUDCHF, the daily time frame. All right, the daily time frame is just shit, right? I don't like the price action, but clearly it looks like price is clearly bearish, right? And the last day, because this is the daily time frame, right? The last day closed as a doji candle. So if we can use this support and resistance area right here, right? Let's look at how the weekly looks first. The weekly is also not clean. 4 hour time frame. You can see that the area of interest is way more cleaner on the 4 hour time frame, right? It's way more cleaner on the 4 hour time frame. So I'm actually bent on selling this market. So let me explain why. Daily time frame is bearish, right? So this was the higher high and this was the higher low. Clearly, it closed below this low right here, making this now the new lower low and this the new lower high, right? So price has retraced back to around this area right here, which has multiple rejections on the daily time frame, right? You can look from the EMA, see that the EMA is coming around that area right now. Let us look for a round psychological level. So there's a round psychological level around here, 0.52500, right? So let's draw it. 0.52 500. All right, so we have a round psychological level around here, and then the 4 hour time frame is 4 hour time frame is actually bullish, and I'm going to count this as the higher high and this one right here as the higher low. So here's how I plan to sell these markets, right? I just want a break and retest below this area right here to sell. I want a break and retest below this area just like this to sell. Now I just want to let you guys know that this consolidation right here means that there was a lot of price activity around that area. So if the break is way more down like this, let's assume that the break came all the way down, it's actually way more valid than for price to just break and stop around here and have the retest and engulfing, right? So we need price to actually clear all those levels right there, then give us the retest and then the engulfing, right? I'll be way more confident. Trade the Let us look at how the 1 hour looks. I didn't even realize that. All right, so clearly you can see on the 1 hour we have a left head right shoulder, right? Simply what we always look for is a break of the neckline, a retest, and then we sell. So I'm happy about AUDCHF. So let's add it for the pairs for this week. Euro AUD, daily time frame. Alright, 4 hour time frame. I'm not interested in Euro AUD. GBP NZD. The market is currently, well, technically still bullish, right? Technically still bullish. GBP NZD, the market is still bullish. Well, it looks bearish on the 1 hour time frame. I'm not really interested. AUDCAD, I'm sure we are waiting for a break and retest above there. We still haven't gotten it, right? So we have key level of support of resistance right here. So price haven't still broken that level right now. So that's what we are still going to be waiting for. I'm not going to add it for this week because it has been lazy, right? Next pair, USDJPY. All right, USDJPY on the daily time frame, we still have this support and resistance level right here, but you see this consolidation around here that price did before it gets to area of interest. It does is a number one turn off for me. So um I was looking to buy this market, but price switched bearish. I think we have good enough pairs. I don't have to add this particular pair for the week, right? I don't have to add this pair for the week because there's a lot of structure points that can stop price from getting to final target, which is all the way up here, right? Let us look at other pairs. USDCAD. USDCAD seems to be switching bearish right now. So let's delete everything. As you can see, price was clearly bullish and then it is now currently bearish. At least if it closed below this low, it's clearly bearish. So let us draw this area of interest right here on the daily time frame, right? So 4 hour time frame. Alright, so on the 4 hour time frame, price is also bearish, right? But we don't have enough structure points. So let us see what the 1 hour is telling us. Alright, the 1 hour time frame is also bearish. So we have basically two time frame in sync, right? It makes more sense to sell this market if we can get a break and retest below this area right here. And this is mostly based on the daily time frame, right? So let's add it for the pairs for this week. 1, 2, 3. I might be removing some of the pairs for the week because it seems like we're having way too many pairs this week. EURUSD. Alright, EURUSD daily time frame is bearish. Right, so daily time frame is bearish. We have a minor area right here. Right? So let's see what the weekly is saying. Weekly is actually bullish, right? 4 hour time frame. 4 hour time frame is also bullish. But we have this strong support and resistance area right here. As you can look on the 4 hour time frame, is way more cleaner. Multiple rejections from area, right? So if you can get a clean break and retest below this area, you can sell this market. So we just need something more like this to continue selling. So let's add it for the pairs for the week. GBPJPY. I think after analyzing, I'm going to check the pairs I just called for the week and just choose the best one out of them because looks like we have multiple pairs this week alone, right? So we'll just look for the best one out of them and then select them for this week. Daily time frame on GBPJPY. we are well clearly bullish, right? But we have this support and resistance area right here. 4 hour time frame. Alright, so 4 hour time frame, I like this one. It's actually bearish too as well. So since we already have that 2 time frame in sync, we have multiple rejections from area of interest. Oh, and we cannot enter on Sunday night. So usually we wait for a break and retest to take this trade. So on a normal day, we are supposed to just wait for an engulfing around here. Right, we are supposed to wait for an engulfing around here to sell, but price, you know, is basically has basically already had a retest. Oh, this is the 4 hour time frame. 1 hour time frame. Alright, so 1 hour time frame is bullish. Alright, I don't like this pair anymore. Right, because it just shifted bullish. And for it to break and retest, you need to break and retest below this area right here. So we'll just see this one out. GBP card. I think there's remaining two now. Alright, GBP card. We took this one last week and we closed at a 1:1.5 risk to reward ratio trade. So this basically this trade just saved us, right? We are already losing 2 trades that week, but this particular trade, covered for all those losses. But looks like we're not going to be interested in selling this market this week. So next pair, NZDJPY. Alright, NZDJPY. I'm already liking the price action, right? So it's a very clean break and we are hoping for a retest somewhere. So let's look for an area of interest. This right here is a much more cleaner area of interest to me, right? Daily time frame. So 4 hour time frame. Um, 4 hour time frame is bullish. 1 hour time frame. Alright, I don't like this pair. So that's pretty much the pairs.